Oh no! I didn't press record. Let me reenact it for you. This should be the biggest question mark left answered. I already feel myself regretting saying that. Welcome back. With the high of seeing JimmyOakes wear a Black Knight t-shirt.
Very true. Yeah. What's your favorite part? The camera for you?
Okay, I wasn't ready for this.
What's your favorite part of SEMA?
I think it's the people.
Walking around SEMA, I'm feeling pretty motivated. So to start this video off, I want to do something quick, easy. Now that I've said that, I'm going to ruin it, but it should be quick and easy. Rear quarter on, front fender on, door on. That means we can fit off an M3 side skirt. We've got the mounting holes in the rear quarter and then we've got two in the front. Because this wasn't originally an M3, there aren't any holes to accept the clips. So we need to put this on front and rear, mark out the holes, drill the holes, clip it on, done, more M3 parts. These are the clips. Odd looking things. I've got some new ones on order, but until they come in, we'll just need to use these second handies. They slide on and just sit there. Then we get one of these little green grommet-y things. Ooh. We get one of these little green grommet-y things. So I've got two in the front, two in the rear. That'll give us the right line. We need to make sure that the body line's followed down in front and rear. Mark the sill panels. There's going to be 3 holes we need to drill out to make sure we get the clips in. Let's do that. So, we've got... Nope, that just shattered the old clip. Gentler. I want to be gentle. All right, I've offered it up. I've marked out where each little clip goes. I had the little rubber grommet or the little plastic grommet in this hole, but I need to measure down from here to the top and the bottom of the hole to make sure I can get this center line right all the way across, and then drill it out. I would need to deburr them, clean them up, paint them to make sure they don't rust. Let that dry, put them all in, put on a side skirt. Noise. All of these clips are secondhand clips. I have brand new clips. I'm gonna have to definitely take this off because again, this isn't even spot welded. I'm just gonna put a little bit of oil on there just so hopefully they go in and out just a little easier. Probably won't do a thing, but at least I'm trying. Such a small thing. But god damn it, it fills it out so well. I can't wait to have the rest of the body kit on. Oh, what? Oh, that looks so good. Now that the quick and easy part is done, the next step is messing around with these. I've already cut up 2 tubs from Holden, Colorado's, and I didn't cut enough panel out. So I went and got a 3rd one. This is off a D-Max and they're very similar. The shapes and sizes are similar and the ribs in that wheel arch are the same. The plan of attack this time is there's a seam right here. I'm going to cut all the way along, up, and just knock that side off. And then just start cutting bits off of it as we work out the sizes, dimensions. I think we need to take the tailgate off. Then I've marked up both sides where I need to cut up. Now we just start cutting. Now you're over there. Oh no! I didn't press record! Oh man! Oh. Shit. Let me reenact it for you. Nice. We've got our two sections now. I think the next step is to remove the rear quarter off, and then everything on this side needs to just be completely removed. So we've just got a nice flat panel there. We don't want to cut anything out this end or anything out here just yet. We want to get rid of everything else though. We've got it down to the point where we're not really cutting anything else off. We're more having to drill out spot welds. So all of these supports need to go. I need to work out what I'm going to do with this little panel. All of these big hunks of junk just need to get off.
We're just done with phrasing, right? That's not a thing anymore.
Going to be a little bit more cutting, but it's more just to get to the spot welds. I'm just going to start doing it. It's real warm and it's only going to be hotter tomorrow, and I'm working in a couple hours, so I want to try and get at least the passenger side, the left hand side, stripped clean so I can start lining it up, working out where I need to cut the top off to make it fit in the ute. Fits perfectly. Look at that. A couple of spot welds, a couple of MIG tacks, maybe a couple of plug welds, and like she's in. Hopefully this is starting to make a little bit more sense. I need parts of this panel, not the whole panel. I've gotten a lot of the thickness on the bottom, so you can see it's sitting mostly flat, still a little bit more. This from factory was just a lapped spot weld, which I'm going to do the same thing. Once we get it sitting down really nicely, I can then mark a line to cut across so it can be pushed back all the way, and then we can come over the other side. I can mark a pencil line of where I need to cut the panel to then sit closer into the M3 panel. There are still some more little bits that I need to drill out, cut off. Today's going to be like 40 degrees. I'll put a conversion up for Fahrenheit. It's already really warm. It's like 9:45 and it's stinking hot. So you know how I just said it's really hot? my camera keeps turning off because it's overheating. So I'm just not going to film all of these spot welds. All of the little bits of plate are removed. Blew a couple of holes in them, but I'll repair them. I do still need to cut out this section here because that's where the support from the cage to the frame goes. I'm gonna sneeze.
You are so good looking.
So the next step is to put this in, start marking out how high it is and start trimming it up so I can start getting it nice and tucked in there neatly, and then work out where I need to cut this little ball bit out because that needs to shift down a little bit further to clear the E30 wheel arch. It's still hot as, and my camera's still kind of struggling, so bear with me. I'll try and keep it cool. It's definitely going to work. There's just a lot of work to make it work. I think what I should be able to do is measure from this face down and then just cut all the way around. The M3 panel tapers off down this section, so it probably won't fit in, but it means I'll have more that I can work up to where I need to cut it instead of just cutting too much off it straight away. More cutting, yay. I've given myself another 20 mil because the bed panel's still in the car and this was sitting on top of it. It could have added like 10-15 mil. I don't really know what I need to do with this radius just here, so hopefully that's right. Hopefully I'm not clipping myself saying, yeah, this is good in a future video when I realize I've made a mistake. Whoops. Apparently that's right where the latch is. There's a little humming in the background. I can't turn the fan off anymore. I need to leave it on. Still a little high. We've got some meat to work with. Yeah, that's good. I'll bring you around. So from this angle, you can see this is here, but we've still got E30 wheel arch further back. So now I can mark exactly where it is. This needs to end somewhere over here. So I can cut this out nice and neatly, shift it back and extend it. It's slowly turning into what I think I need, but there's still a lot more cutting. I think I'm running out of steam for today though. Here's the panel, and here's where I think I need to cut it. We've got a couple of radiuses in here that I don't want to mess up. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. I know I don't want to have to cut through this and then try and blend that in somehow yet. I may have to, not sure. I want to make sure that I'm past this change into the solid radius here. So then when I move this down, I can just match it. Going in between the top radius and the bottom radius, again, flat plate is easier to blend in. This bit is going to be terrible to blend in. This little radius, also terrible to blend in. I've got to straddle the line, come down, come across, and then across. I want to keep these small little features are going to make it look OEM. It's not, but I mean, on the car that this came off, this was there. We want to try and keep it there. If I cut all of that, I can put this whole panel in the car, move this little section down to where it clears the inner wheel arch. Let's go over to that. Where it clears the back part of this inner wheel arch, then measure the distance I need to extend it and cut it out of this panel. These ribs are all the same. I can just make it fit. There's going to be a little bit of panel beating, a lot of welding, but it can be done. This is the next thing I need to do, so I'm just going to start cutting up, and then the next thing you'll see is this bit detached over here somewhere, not sure. The magic of editing, the next real video, oh no, fuck it, whatever. I think now I take this rear wall out, the floor out, because this panel needs to sit flat. Then I can work out exactly how high to cut it and make sure that I can cut the length, trim off all of the extra bits that I don't need, so it's sitting in the exact position it's going to be in. Then I can get this more defined and start cutting up the patch section, which that patch section is like really close to the tower. No, I'll worry about that later. I'm getting too far ahead of myself. Take all of this apart, have this sitting directly on the frame. Cut this off first. I'm going to define an area, define what's wrong with it, cut it out, and then define the next area. So I don't just cut a whole bunch off and get it wrong straight off the bat. How do I measure that? I need to think about this. I need to do a little bit more thinking. I went out, got some food, got another coffee, got the brain bean juices flowing again, and I've worked out that this needs to go completely. We can't have this change in height with where the egg wants to sit. Let's call this the egg, or we can call it Northernlion.
What? Come on.
But egg's probably a little easier. We cut across, up, out, down. I've traced out around this to get the angle. This is where the egg stops, but we want to keep this detail intact. Check, check. Oh, thank God, I turned my mic on. Okay, then this can be welded in here, and we're extending that section there. The next thing stopping it is the support going back from the cage to the frame. I've got to clear that. I'm under the panel and the front. I left extra on the back here, so I'll cut that off as well. I think you've seen enough chopping and changing, cutting and fitting. I'm just going to get this fitted and then I'll bring you back. I'm having issues picturing it in my brain. So this is an Isuzu D-Max tub. This is a Holden Colorado tub. I thought they were the same. I thought they were basically the same. And radius, same. The ribs are the same. What's not the same is how soon the Colorado one flattens off. And you can see this is all the factory radiuses, and it's like 10 mil in, it radiuses up and then flattens off. On the back here, it's like 70 mil, which it would be so much easier if it just leveled off straight away. I'm caught in two minds whether or not I try to make the D-Max one work. Every time I make a cut, I add welding. Welding sheet metal is time consuming to make sure that it doesn't warp or you don't put too much heat into it. And then you've still got the blending, the bogging, all of that kind of jazz. Finding another Colorado tub, probably gonna take time, but I can do it. I'm then still gonna have to cut it up and get it back to this stage. I've thought that if I cut across, I can keep this detail and maybe somehow bring it down, so then I've got that same little undercut. Most utes seem to have that undercut, and I want to try and keep it. I can't picture it yet. I'm back. Slightly older, none the wiser. I can't get a fourth tub. I'm sick of cutting them up. I don't want to do it. All right. It's the next day. I had time to think, make phone calls, do things, purchase another tub. This one's slightly more special because it's got a roller shutter. Whoop, tripping. It's got a roller shutter on it. This one's just going to get cut up, and I just want to get it done, so I'm not going to film it. I'll come back when I have something different happening over here. Ta-da! I know I'm going to get comments going, you need to show more of the process. This was the fourth tub I've cut up. And although I haven't shown you the whole process, it's a painful process. The amount of spot welds holding all of these things together, I just wanted to have it done. I apologize. Doesn't it look amazing? I'm gonna take you off the tripod to show you around. It's all cut up, all fits inside the M3 panel. It does need to move back a little bit. You can see I haven't welded it all together yet, but it's pretty dang close. There's going to be some bits that need to be cut and whatnot. I want to make this a whole panel first, and then I can put the rear window wall back in, work out how I'm going to fix those two together. I can put the main bed back in, do a long cut up that because I don't need anything on the side here anymore. I'm going to have it so the bed comes out, then this panel overlaps, and they all get spot welded to one of these little slats. I have to work out how I'm going to finish this edge. So this bit needs to come out a little bit further and then still have a little fold. So this is the one that I've just cut up. There is quite a bit of an undercut underneath. Because of the way the panel tapers off, I can't have that big of an undercut. I'll work that out and then make another patch panel. From here, make this panel one piece, put the back wall in. Nice, okay. I'm gonna let that cool off and let this cool off. And then I'll tizzy this up and make it look pretty. I'm warm. It fits, which is really good. I've got a little bit extra on the end, which is good because I can trim up to the line. I think I've worked out what I need to do on this other end, keeping as much of the jumbuck trim and feature and all of that kind of jazz. So I'm going to trim out this back section, and then that's probably just going to get spot welded with slightly modifying some of the jumbuck details and features. This comes out, floor goes in, measure where I want to cut the floor to suit. I can't really fix the floor down because I don't have the other side done, and I can't do the other side because I don't have the quarter. Cut this out, finalize this detail, what's going on here, what it's going to look like, and cut the base. I don't know when, but the camera died at some point. That's all looking neat and pretty. Let's try it back on. Then we work out where we need to cut the window panel to suit this. There's gonna probably be some blending. Sick. Marked out on the back wall. Let me get you a little closer. You can see the pencil mark of where that panel is going to sit, which means it finishes up here. We can cut all of this side off. I want to try and keep this detail, but end it down the bottom here. So I may be able to use this bottom piece and just cap it up a little bit higher, but we can now cut all of this side of the floor out. And the other side's probably going to be mirrored. I probably shouldn't cut it out, but I'm going to. Let's just hope that it works out. It's all starting to come together and kind of make a lot more sense to me. Just keep plugging along. That is in, and it is fitting really well. That is just awesome. We now have a spot where I can plug weld it all down, seam seal over the top of it, and we've got a wheel arch, which is sick. I've got a panel that's going to go in here that brings the tub out, which will make it a little bit more natural, a little bit more OEM, but that is an E30 Ute pickup truck in a wheel arch. That is sick. That is so cool. Now that this is kind of configured, I need to start sorting out how this panel attaches to this panel. You can already see what it's doing. I just need to mess around with the window panel. Obviously don't have the other side. I'm just going to mirror it. So whatever I do over here, I'll allow for a little bit more. Still making it look factory, but then mirror it the other side just in case that it doesn't all end up the same. So here's the cutout from the floor. That piece just there. I'm going to use these transition pieces to then move this transition up higher so it still looks factory. This mark can be moved over a little bit just so I have a little bit more clearance around what I'm doing for this one. But we just want to make this look nice and pretty so it all lines up. I should have left more. Fuck. This is what happens when I cut without thinking. Luckily, I can still fix my mistake. Can anyone else spot it? I thought I cut them bigger than they needed to be, but bigger in the wrong spots, apparently. I should have left as much meat either side as I can, so then I don't need to add extra material. This texture line underneath, I need 20 mil of flat steel all the way around it. I don't want to have a weld up here and a weld up here when I could just have a single weld joining the two patches that I've put together. I need to cut out another one of these to make sure that this gap is now closed I'm gonna grab the other side floor. I'm gonna mark out what I think I need for the other side, work out what's spare, and then I can cut out the proper plates that I need. I'm definitely gonna have to put a patch panel down here for that because we need to get this covered. This one needs to be a little longer. This one needs to be a little longer and a little wider. Always think first. And then when you think you've thought enough, think again. Think again. Difficult to see on the camera, but we're going to move these transitions up a little bit higher so then the wheel arch can come across, up and around, and then back up. I'm going to need to add a little bit of steel down here. I'll get all of these tacked in, sitting pretty, looking nice. I did not do this very well. By marking out, putting the plate on, marking out, I cut inside the line, but I'm still too big. So it's a learning experience. Learn to not cut as much out and learn to fill up the holes. Yay. Camera turned off, ran out of battery. Thanks, camera. Kind of looking out for me on this one. It turned off and I thought, whatever, I'll just send it. I should probably make sure this fits. So let's make sure it fits. Yeah, that works. And that works really well. You can see there is clearance around each transition. I do need to add a couple of little bits of metal, but I'll be able to plug weld those together. And I mean, once that's all painted, that is going to be a seamless transition. I'm looking at the camera and this doesn't make sense at all. It looks horrible. So I'm going to finish welding that up, then prime it. Oh yeah, that has turned out so well, and you can see what it looks like on camera. I've taken it next door to the crash shop to confirm if what's going on the back here is all right. And they've gone, yeah. I mean, there are some spots that don't look amazing. The penetration hasn't gone all the way through, but overall it's going to do more than what it needs to do. Now that I've done that side, I have to do the same over this side, which is really good because there is a dent here and a dent here that I can just cut out and then replace. That is going to look and work extremely well. I'm real happy with this one. I'm real happy with this. That is going to complete the factory look, and when someone walks in, they're gonna, all of these tiny little features that are still left in, someone's gonna go, what the hell? How the hell does that work? Nice. Sick. I just spent 6 hours doing this bit, and I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, I got so much done. There's still so much to do though. Ah well, let's get on with it. That went really well. I'm getting a lot more comfortable welding thin sheet steel together. There is still warping, but there are people out there who could have MIG'd, TIG'd, oxy'd this, and it would have looked amazing. I'm not one of those people yet. This is like, I think my 4th or 5th try at doing thin sheet steel. And if I look back at my first one, there's huge improvement. I've always lived by, well, I haven't always, since I heard it I have, almost good enough is almost always good enough. I could spend the next 3 days making this look perfect. It's probably just gonna get bogged. The only people who are gonna know when it's finished are the people who have watched this almost good enough is almost always good enough, and this is good enough. How good does that look? That looks factory AF. So hard to see it with the black, but it is looking good. Now that we've got this into here, this into here, this, kind of know what I'm doing into here. I'm in contact with someone about getting the tools I need to make the bits that I need to join that all together. The next step is this. This is a sedan roof that I think I've been sitting on this for about 8 months to a year. We have to remove the windshield. There is a crack in there, so I'm probably not going to reuse this, which is a shame because it does still have the BMW logo on there. But I have to remove the windshield, remove the paint, unpeel here, and work out where I need to unpeel along this top seam and everywhere else to try and get this roof to fit onto this car. Just that gold line, that is a braze line between the A-pillar and the roof. That shows us where we transplant the new roof onto, because this line will be the same. All right, now that we've removed the windscreen, we know where the braze line is. It's in the same spot on the other one. I have confirmed that. The next step is get rid of this. We know we're going to need to unpick around here. We know we're going to need to unpick up here. I don't know if this gutter is on the other skin, whether or not this needs to stay onto it and then the skin attaches to that, or how all of this gets pieced together. So I think I start cutting up the new roof skin, picking off the bits that I know I don't need, and then referencing off of the car what I do still need to keep. The rear panel is still fouling in spots on the roof. I've marked out where I need to cut, so then we can be sure the panel is sitting in the right spot. There's going to be a lot of cutting, a lot of measuring, a lot of thinking, which is basically the exact same thing that I've done on every other step of this car, just more of it. Let's get to it. Before I start cutting, I need to get all of the roof liner out, remove the hand grips, any wiring that's in there. There's some lights. If you've gotten this deep and you're not a subscriber, think about it. I'd really appreciate it. Just this one episode was 3 weeks to build the car, a week of editing. I fry my brain to do these things. I'm not a mechanic, I'm not a panel beater, I'm not a videographer, and I have like really basic skills when it comes to editing. I'm learning this all as I go, and if you think I've earned it, subscribe. I'm doing the best I can, and I still think I'm doing a pretty good job. I'd like to give a huge shout out to Sunquake. They're a relatively small band from Annecy, France. I've been listening to them for a couple of years now, found them on Bandcamp, and some of my longest working days they've gotten me through. I used to be a shop fitter. I would do 8 hours at one shop, go to a hotel in the city and do like another 8 hours fitting off the kitchen or cabinetry. The #1 album that I was listening to when that was all going on was Sunquake. I would also like to say, if you are in a band, if you know someone who's in a band, would allow me to put any of their music in any of my videos, please contact me. I'm 18 months into YouTube. I haven't made a single cent. I have nothing to offer other than we can grow together. With all that said, keep watching Workshop Lewis destroy a car. What are you doing, pal? What are you doing? Much lighter. Split this skin off of all of the extra metal And then I can sit that skin on top of here and start working out what I need to remove from the car to make it fit. You see that little fella? Right here? He's going outside into some leaves. I think I put him outside, but they may be crawling on me right now. I didn't get to see where they went. Good luck, little fella. The more I look at the chassis of the bower and the roof, there aren't very many similarities. Whew, tongue twister. This is all real thin, maybe 1 mil, and then on the bower, you've got 1, 2, 3 that are all like 2 mil thick. And I've got to work out how to get the roof to fit onto almost a completely different kind of roof. So this is part of the reason why I've picked a bower, just because it's got more structure in the roof, and I was cutting so much out of the rear, I wanted more structure. I've separated the roof at the front around the windscreen. I've wire wheeled, and then I've gone over to next door to have a chat with Stan. Now, Stan is their very experienced panel beater, and he said this is a different technique, and all of these little bits are spot weld, and I can't drill them out neatly the entire way through. We've worked out that I probably need to cut across and then maybe grind the panel off, or I may still be able to even use it with the 2 thicknesses. I'll set you up on the end to show you a little bit of the issues that I'm coming into right now. So there's 4 parts to this. You've got the 2 sections of the box section. You've got the skin, got this little right angle going across in between the box section and the skin and down. That's the bit that has all of those spot welds running along. I can cut straight across. It will still be attached because these 2 pieces are spot welded together. I think what I need to do is cut across, then cut across, so then this section can be removed. I then have access to just very neatly cut across here. Oh, it's real flimsy now. Sick. It is a pretty shitty day. I don't know how much the microphone is going to pick up the rain. It's hopefully going to start clearing, but I'll keep the talking to a minimum for just a little bit. Hi VZ. Sorry, you got to be sitting out there in the rain. Today's job is getting the roof off of the chassis. I'm gonna try and put the roof in with this gutter still attached and just see how it fits. Maybe it works and I don't have to remove any of it. The less structure I cut out, the better. Chuck the roof skin on and just like pray that it fits perfectly. Now that I've said that, I've completely ruined any chance of it happening. That is considerably different. Interesting. Chuck the roof skin on and just like pray that it fits perfectly. Oh no. What the hell is going on here? Chuck the roof skin on and just like pray that it fits perfectly. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. That doesn't look right at all. I don't think that's right. Let me show you what's going on. Because the braze is still there on both of the sides, there's overlap, but I mean the front is a little gapped, but workable. Getting the gutter to sit in the gutter then creates a giant bubble, which I don't think is meant to be there. That's not right at all. How do I fix this? I think I need to do some brainstorming, because that isn't right. It seems like the gutter for the bower is much narrower. I might clean these up, get this front sitting neatly. While I do that, I can think about what's going on with the back. We're getting closer, and it's starting to make a little bit more sense. I still kind of think I need to grind this gutter down, not fold it out, but grind it down. The edge of the roof skin gutter wants to be sitting where the edge of the chassis gutter is. Yeah. That's exactly right. Nice. Sick. Okay. So, remember how I said it was kind of a crummy day for weather? If you know anything about gum trees, you know in hot weather they drop limbs, in cold weather they drop limbs, in windy weather they drop limbs. I've brought in some of the chrome window trim that goes over the chassis that covers up the gutter, and I've got a small amount of thickness that I can get away with. I'm going to have to cut that gutter, remove the second thickness off of this one, test it and see if it works. Before I take the roof off, I need to put the rear window panel up so I can have that sitting up against it, mark the underside, and then I can cut the roof back to where I need that to be for the rear window. Before I can put the rear window wall up, I've got some marks on here. I need to cut this off, and this off. This is gonna work so incredibly well. Fucking nice. This bit lines up. The back wall panel is hard up against the roll cage. I just need to draw a line up under here so I know where to cut the roof. Now that this is all on, I can't help myself. I want to template out what this bit is going to look like. I need to see it. I need to be able to visualize it and go, yeah, sick, that's going to work. Or I can go back, think about it and go, I need to adjust it in this manner. I'm jumping the gun, but I'm too excited. This was my first template. You can kind of see what's going on. It's not quite long enough, and I cut some of it a little bit off. I need some clamps.
It gives me no joy to do this, because clamps will be doing it.
I need some bigger clamps.
Clamps? Here are your new clamps. Clamps!
Hopefully this one's the one that works. I don't think I've gotten this quite right. Do we want this wall tapered in? Do we want it tapered out? Do we want it flat? Because that affects how long this goes. Does that look like an E30? Want me to show you around? Well, Here's my E30 ute with a semi-functional B pillow. I think that works pretty fucking well. It is just cardboard, but it gets me to a point where I can be like, yeah, sweet, okay, this is how I'm gonna do it. This is what's gonna happen. I can build a bloody E30 ute B pillow. Ooh, I should have cut that roof off. That is really uncomfortable. Huge progress in the last couple of weeks, and like these videos take weeks to film. So I really appreciate everyone who keeps watching. The comments that I keep getting, everyone seems to either love it and hate it, and the people who still hate it kind of love it. I'm really happy with how the B pillar is going to turn out. There is going to be some modification to it. The first template is rarely the last template, but I mean, I'm sitting in my ute. E30 M3 ute. How sick is that? If this is the first time you've watched one of my videos, this is episode 21. Check out the other episodes. There was a significant increase in production qualities from first to say now, so stick with me from episodes say like 1 to 10, filming on a GoPro, poor mic, didn't really know what I was doing with editing, but to be fair, I kind of still don't know what I'm doing with editing. If you've liked this episode, leave me a comment. I'm gonna reply to them constantly as they come out. I really enjoy reading all of your comments. It's slowly coming together, and the more it looks like a ute, the more motivation I have to keep just plugging away at it. So, thank you very much. I'll see you in the next one. Easy. Easy.